Hello and welcome to Between the Stacks, a podcast about libraries and library people. I am your host, and joining me today is...
Hi, I'm Sara from Macau.
Hi, Sara. Can you tell us a little bit about your connection to libraries?
Oh, yes, I'm a librarian at a Lansing College in Macau.
And you brought the story with you today, so let's hear it now.
Most of the time, I help students solve their problems, which include researching for their thesis. We talk about how to write a thesis, how to conduct research. It is not that difficult to just talk or discuss about their work. At one point of my life, I decided to do a master's degree at Wuhan University. It should be easy as my profession is library and information science, and I assist students to write their thesis all the time anyway. I took my pride in librarianship very seriously. I just had to apply the same tools that I applied for the students for myself this time. It should be easy. But you know what? The tools were still the same, but my expectation was totally subverted. I had no idea of how or where to start with my thesis. I asked my supervisor for help, but she could not take my hand to do my work for me every step of the way as she shouldn't. This was a master thesis after all. She said, "You are a librarian. You should be able to do your own research. I believe in you." I believe in you. 4 little words that carry so much weight. When I thought the thesis was the boulder that crushed me, I realized that these 4 little words were the boulder that I had to carry every day up the hill before they rolled down the hill, and I had to roll them up again. I was Sisyphus. I'm a librarian. Information should be my instinct. But it was not. I feel stuck in a downward spiral. I doubt my profession. I doubt myself. At this point, it was not just the master thesis. It was the pride I took in my work as a librarian. A librarian who could not write a thesis? What would I even look like? Am I good enough? Am I a fraud? I even thought about quitting the master program. I tried to convince myself that it was just a piece of paper and maybe I should not be that harsh on myself. Maybe I should take a break. I wanted to quit, but I could not bring myself to make this decision. I wanted to quit, but I did not want to bear the mark of a quitter. Maybe if external forces decided for me, I did not have to make the decision. I was passively awaiting the impending deadline which drew closer and closer as each day passed. When the deadline came, I could just let it go. I did stop writing my thesis. I was ready to let go, but I was very conflicted at the same time. The little voice in my head told me to not let go. It lurked in the deepest abyss in my head. Should I keep muttering for, or should I just give up? Whatever I chose or did not choose, it was a lose-lose situation. I did not know what to do. I was helpless. I wonder if other people had the same obstacle I had, or maybe I was simply not good enough. I wanted an answer, but I did not dare to seek it out because I might not like it. I guess I was just waiting for a sign, any sign at all to tell me what to do. And that was when the COVID-19 pandemic came. I'm sorry that is not a good sign for the world, but it was my sign. I was informed that I would have 6 more months to finish the thesis due to the pandemic. At that moment, it felt like the boulders, my thesis and the 4 little words were lifted from my exhausted body. In fact, they did not feel like boulders anymore. They became a goal I could see myself reaching and words of encouragement. I felt a shift of energy in my soul, and the little voice in my head became my personal cheerleader. "You can do it," said the little voice in my head. These were the new 4 little words that cheered me on until I crossed the finish line. At long last, after a year and a half, I finished writing my thesis. I got my master's degree and I was relieved at the end. I realized I was not at fault. I just needed some more time to write the thesis. I just needed some more time to process my frustrations and self-doubt. I just needed emotional support from friends and family. Looking back at my first-hand experience of writing a thesis, I realized that the students at the nursing college need more than technical support. They need genuine emotional support. They need to be seen as human beings who have human frustration. I think from now on, when they come to me for help, I will ask them how they are doing as I wish I was asked when I was writing my thesis. We just never know how much different their day would be if we show them we care.
I remember the time when I was writing my own thesis. It was not the happiest time of my life. It was very challenging. I'm just so glad I finished the thesis and I got my degree. Fun fact, the materials I used for my thesis are put in a box, and I have not opened this box ever since I submitted my thesis. So yeah, I totally understand the trauma, the struggle that comes with writing a thesis. It is totally a horror story. My master's thesis involved the use of AutoCAD because I was drawing a lot of things at that time. And every time AutoCAD froze, I got a series of mini heart attacks. It was so unpleasant. But I guess I'm okay. Now that I'm done complaining, I have questions. Sarah, you were enrolled at Wuhan University in Wuhan, right at the heart of the pandemic last year. How did you defend your thesis? I am quite curious about that. Can you explain a little bit?
I thought I would go to Wuhan to defend my thesis, but I have never thought that I would be one of first group of students at Wuhan University who defend their thesis online.
If you could choose, would you rather to have an online or in-person thesis defense?
I have never defended a thesis in person, but I know if it is in person, it must be much stressful. In my thesis defense, the jury seems to be quite relaxed. It was like having an online dialogue with them from home, so I didn't feel as nervous as I expected before the defense. I would still want to defend my thesis online if I could choose.
What advice would you give to people who are going to defend their thesis online?
The most important thing is to do it at a place with a stable internet connection. My home internet connection was not very stable and I lost connection in the middle of the defense. Fortunately, the jury did not consider that as a big issue and it was forgiven. But it kind of feels like I forgot what I had to say if it were an in-person presentation.
And what has changed in your approach to help the students at the college after writing your own thesis?
Two parts. First, for technical support, I do not simply ask the students what literature they want. I try more to understand what the progress of their thesis is in order to offer different assistance. For example, if they are still conceptualizing their research, but the thesis topic is not yet determined, I try to just have a chat with them and see what their thoughts are so far for their research, and also help them decide which direction is better. Since the conceptualizing of the thesis is the most helpless and lost state. Too much information will cloud their thoughts, have rendered them unable to see what their options are. With my own experience of writing a thesis, I try to have a dialogue with the students, help them organize their thoughts, assess the feasibility of different research topics, and finally, narrow down to what they want to do. Second, I try to give them mental support. When I talk to the students, I can see the sign of anxiety and I just let them complain and unwind. This is one way the student can cope with their stress. If I see that they are not in a healthy mental state, I also share my own hellish thesis writing experience with them. This way, I show them that I truly understand their situation and they are not alone in this. All these are things I learned from writing my thesis. I'm more capable to help the students now because I can empathize with them.
So Sarah, what's new in the stacks?
During April and May every year, Macau has a citywide library week to celebrate World Book Day, which is on April 23rd. Libraries of all kinds organize different activities. It has always been very festive and exciting, but due to the pandemic in 2020, Macau Libraries was cancelled. This year, we are very happy to be able to do this again.
All right, thank you. I will put the information of Macau Library Week on the page of this episode. Thank you again, Sarah.
Thank you.
Empathy seems to come so natural to some people, but it's not innate. It's learned through a caring environment, through a similar personal experience, through listening to others, and so on. It comes in various forms. Sometimes it is understanding how a person feels. Sometimes it is understanding how and why a person is in the current situation without judging them. It's great if we can offer practical help they need, but I believe a lot of times we just don't know what to do or what to say. All we know is that the person needs the help we cannot offer. And we feel somewhat uncomfortable or guilty even. But here's the thing. It's not about us. It's about the person. When we don't know the right thing to do or to say, just be honest and say we don't. And let them know that we will be there for them and listen to them whenever they need. I personally believe that if we truly care about someone, we should listen to what the person has to say. Thank you for listening. Between the Stacks is created, hosted, and produced by me, and our music is made by Sam Simon. More information about this episode can be found in www.betweenthestacks.org. Do you have a library story to tell? Have you ever been tormented by your thesis? Are you writing a thesis? Or do you have suggestions? Let me know. Email me to betweenthestacks.thepodcast@gmail.com or tweet to me at between_stacks. Stay tuned and subscribe, and I will see you next Friday. Between the Stacks.